Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. Just say hello to him. Now, what do I have? A slightly vowel heavy rack. I don't quite have 8 vo. The E would need to be a V. That's always a word I've wanted to play. 8 vo. Not quite. Hog tie is a word. That's a 6. Is there an 8 through the right floater? I have the ego prefix. Ego. No, not seeing an 8 through the right floater. There might be one. Also have the geo prefix. Just waiting for opponent to make his first move here. He's okay. He's played Duma. Now I do have hog tie underneath Duma. Do I have a 4-timer through the D? A geo word or an ego word? No, not seeing one. Now, actually I have 8 here for 32. I quite like that. I'm going with 8. Not a good pickup at all. I draw only vowels. Well, I drew a G, but the rest of the rack was all vowels. I drew 4 vowels to accompany the 2 that I had. So I'll most likely be changing on this next move, unless there is a play of agio, for example. But it would have to score decently to convince me that a change is better than a play is better than a change. Now that's 13 with a pretty ropey rack leave. No, I think I will change on this next one. What to keep though? I might just keep an E. Get rid of the rest. So OI wouldn't be worth I don't think this is worth playing, no. The rack leave is just awful. I mean, it's tempting because 13 is better than 0, but this rack probably represents about -9 or so. Maybe -6. Hard to say. I'll give it some thought. Let's see what opponent does. He's used up a fair bit of time in these first 2 moves. Okay, now 8 takes a G, so agio does now play, and yeah, I think that's got to be better than changing. Agio for 25. Wow, the rot continues. Terrible. 2 U's now. Rupee is good, but the rack leave awful. Am I able to... Oh, actually, Euripy is good, I think, but that would require another I. How is that spelt? Euripy, something like that. There are a lot of front hooks for 8. Pure has to be better than changing. 26. No front hooks for Gade. I feel that the spot will be taken because it represents the best potential score outside of bingos. I suppose agio, pluralizing agio, and getting a high scoring letter here at 4H would be quite a decent score. But yeah, not a great rack this. It's looking at ways of getting rid of both U's. I have the up prefix. Oh, okay, opponent's taken that spot. Oh, I've got pies, but 2 U's. Oh, that's awful. 36. Oh, not piesed, pazed like that. Mixed the I and the E up there. So, what have I got here? Oriole. Oriole. The U would have to be an E. Or Aluron if the U was an N. Yeah, these 2 U's are just not great. Opponent scores well in the top left. Now I've got Ulu here, scores almost nothing. Plays up here as well. 8 points. That is poor. I have Luau. 7 points, but a slightly better rack leave. Oh, gee. Let me just have a quick look here. Am I not able to get across? No, I've got to get rid of these U's. Wow, horror show here. Not really. I was just being facetious. So horror's no good, but horrored. I wonder if horror is a verb. Neonate opponent has bingoed and now takes a healthy lead. harrower. Okay, I'm back in the game. I draw the Q, and that's quite nice, if you get my drift. Quite as in Quuyte. Haven't identified a place to play that quite yet. Do have quote through the O, not anymore. I have query. I don't think I have a bingo. Do I have a Q play through to the triple word square? Not that I can see. Query seems like the go here. Wondering about front hooks for harrower. Not sure of that one. Query for 31. Yeah. Terrible pickup with a capital T, 3 I's and 2 E's. Shocking, but we'll just have to work our way through it, I guess. Now, FEH scores decently, but look at that for a rack leave. Atrocious. Opponent scores well with socks and regains the lead. I could just play fit for 20. Oh, that's shocking. Can't be best. Yite seems like the way to go. Gets rid of 2 I's and an E. Doesn't score well, but okay, that's a bit more balanced. I still have the FE, or I have FOH, which is marginally better in terms of rack leave. Now Jewie is good, Jewie. 33 for foe. Now Ejido through a D. Jiao, does Jiao play anywhere? No, not that I can see. Okay, this interesting. This opens things up a bit. Wifed. Jowed. Jowed is quite nice because it keeps the board tight. 48, I'm going with this. Oh, not a great pickup. I still have the FOH play. Oh, opponents played Glen, Eels and nothing. So I'm going with FOH. Pity I can't extend it further. So that score's alright. Avoision, almost, if the E was an N. Opponent scores well in the very well in the bottom right and takes a lead. 44 points. That was handy. I don't think Neonate takes an S. Neonates? No, it just sounds wrong. But I'll just make 100% sure. Oh, it is fine. Takes an S. Okay. Now, Corvina, if the B was an R. Bacon. Bacon. There are quite a few 5s here, but opponent scores well at the top left. takes the lead back. It's a little bit of tit for tat at the moment. Cabin seems like a candidate play. The sea also makes it hard to play underneath. Well, impossible since there are no H's left. I like cabin for 32, but is it going to be enough? And can opponent bingo? These are quite bingo-y tiles. Now he can't play under the Q because he doesn't have an I. So maybe, but he'll want to block a play that I can place there. Coven. I like AB better than VO. That's not a bad lead. 5-letter set. I've got Breams, the fish. I think it's a fish. Doesn't currently play. Harrowers and Simb. Does Sim take a B? I'm not sure. I think I need to get rid of the M and the B to ensure that I don't get stung on countback. Opponent will be looking to go out in 2, I think. Now, do I have a BE word? I think opponent might play up in the top right since he only has one vowel. Bemal, bemal. What about a M? No, not seeing a play there. There might be one, but now maybe I can play out here. Opponent's taken the lead again by 1 point. He definitely can't go out, so I will be going out in 2. Menus and agios, that's gonna do it. And then I should be able to go out with, yeah, I've got bear at the top and crab, so I'm definitely going out. Opponent plays Dawn and I think bar and raw for 17. And that's the end of the game. Thank my opponent. There was a nice close game at the end. They're always more exciting when it comes down to the wire. Let's see what we missed. Wow. Okay, so opponent opened with Duma. What did he have there? He had datum, tumid, datum, madid, tumid. Wow. Okay. He went with Duma. Now 8 was best for 32, so happy with that one. Opponent goes with Dita to undouble his T's and I's. Then I've got Agio for 25, which seems fine. Zone 8 opponent had through ATE. That's quite nice. For 30 he went with Zit. And then Peased was best for 36. Prized also, but yeah, slightly better rack leave, albeit an undesirable double U combo. E-popped for 36. Opponent had through the P, getting the other P doubled. Goes with Opa, which did score well, 33. Rouleau. I often miss this bingo, and it's like a mental blank. I looked at it and felt it was close, but the reason I felt it was close was because I thought it was Oriole that I was thinking of, but the actual 7-letter set does make a bingo. Look at that. And playable under TA. That's gutting. Anyway, that was a miss. I went with Luau, which was the next best play after the bingo. Neonate 71. And then Harrower for 72. That's where I played it. L2. Harbourer as well. So that's good too. And Abhorrer. That was another option. Harrower comes down, and then Knoll for 21. But look at this, Nebek for 40 at N2, getting the K tripled. Nebek. Wow. Knoll comes down. Oh, what? I spotted quite, and I didn't know there was a spot for it. 04. Nolly with a Y. That is quite annoying to have spotted the word and then suffer the agony of a 94-point miss. And I do know Noel takes a Y, but I was looking for ways of hooking the Q on, or the E, the end of the word, but I wasn't looking at the Y as a hook. That's a real shame. Anyway, I went with Query to sort that Q out. Socks for 40, decent score for opponent, that looks fine. Yiti was best, according to Analyzer from that rack. Bend for 28, opponent gets that one down. Now Jowd was best for 48 and did well to take out the N and the D as floaters. Opponent a little bit Val dry here. Goes with Glenn for 19, scores quite well. And then Foe for 33 was the play at the top there. Now opponent gets a whopping 44 and sorts his rack out in the process. That's always a rewarding feeling. And he took out the hot spot. Not that it was hot at that stage. The other Y had already been played. But he did well. Now Vise for 31 was fine. Visa also. Visa would have been better. Definitely. 2 A's to come and only 1 E. So I think I rushed that a bit. And then Y for 26. That seems okay for opponent. Now, very close. Look at these scores. I'm 12 behind, and I'm looking at a 2-play out, or 2 or 3 play out. It's essentially the last two or 3 moves. Now, analyzers suggesting Baven, but Baven you can underlap, so I still prefer Coven. And now opponent's got Aesk, however you pronounce that one, which is a 25-point play at K8. Pluralizing Coven, Aesk, and that would leave him, well, DRRT is definitely not going out in 2. I think Sick was probably 10L. Yeah, I think that was the way to go. Here, because he didn't use up his precious vowel, and he scored the most he could without burning a vowel. Now, Merrills. I did think of that actually, Merrills, but I thought I was mixing it up with a brand of shoe. But it is, I think in the Merrill, the shoe is 2 R's. Anyway, that was a miss. Menus did score more, but yeah, I suppose they were both winning plays anyway. And then Don for 19, best score. And Bar for 17 was best to go out. So an interesting game there. Rouleau, that was a bit of a shame because it's a word I do know. A 5-vowel 7. And then the other one I missed was the nollie hook. Nollie, however. So that quite would have been massive. So 1 or 2 misses. The bottom left quadrant not really seeing much action. But a pretty good game. Hope you enjoyed watching that game. And I will see you next time.